I'm talking to it right now. The feeling is not as weird as it would be for certain people because I've gotten used to presenting things on television. I had a show on CTV and quite familiar with how to pretend to talk to a lens even though there's nobody behind it, and I am very aware of that. But it was not as easy in the beginning. Now, traditional webcasts, or podcasts rather, have been people expressing themselves using the technology that's readily available. I did not start off by doing that. I brought in my big camera. I have a big over-the-shoulder camera that shoots really great quality footage. I had a lighting kit set up with, a key light, a fill light, a backlight, a background light. I had 4.5 point, 6 point lighting around it. It was quite the shoot. I think I blew a couple of fuses. But then I thought to myself, after recording my first podcast using that medium, this isn't what it's all about. This isn't what podcasting is about. Podcasting is actually giving the tools out there to people that don't have them and letting them express themselves in an international forum, a forum that is the internet, that doesn't have barriers. As utopic as it sounds, it's a forum where people that feel ostracized or people that live in remote parts of the world can all collaborate and create this online virtual community, which is so fantastic. And so the idea of bringing the big, clunky, over-the-shoulder camera, the lighting kit, the lapel microphone — I have no lapel microphone, as you can see. I have no lapels, actually. I do. Anyway, beyond the point. I digress. Was sort of counterintuitive, was not speaking to the medium that I'm using. And so the medium of new media, of podcasting, of vidcasting, or call it whatever you want to call it, is essentially democratizing these tools in a sort of way that democracy means that people that can afford democracy can use it. So I am well aware of that fact. And so I wanted to use the tools that are available, mainly in North America, to express these myself and use these podcasts as field work. Now, hopefully you'll be interested in what I have to say. I'll try and use a little bit of editing so that you don't feel that I'm boring you in this sort of a way that I can bore people. But let me just go through the different ideas I had for these podcasts. This being the first one is, why podcasting? And then I want to talk a little bit about media aesthetics and podcasting. So using this new medium, do we take or borrow from what we already know through cinematography, through television, these aesthetic principles? Do we transpose these principles into this new medium? So doing research with media aesthetics and webcasting is what we know important, or are we reinventing the wheel with this new technology, with this little webcam? So lighting, framing, editing, sound, are these important elements, or are they not as important as the message that is being conveyed? Who's using webcasting? Who's using these podcasts? Who's going on YouTube? Who's uploading these things? Is it 12-year-old children that are talking about what's happening in their school? Or are we talking about a bigger forum where people are discussing important issues, and so sort of demystifying the realm of new media? So that's for the first or second podcast, depending on how long it's going to be. And I'm running a little short on time. It's 9 minutes, and I'm probably going to be cut off here. But the future podcasts will also talk about what I am thinking about with this new medium. What is new media, which is a very important question to me because we keep talking about new media, and I have a couple of books and I have done a lot of research through this, and I'd like to explore the idea of new media. What is new media? What are we using it for? Why call it new media? By calling it that, Are we implying that there is old media? And is old media necessarily bad media? So talking a little bit about evolving media and talking about the evolution, for example, of music and the vinyl disc player to the from the gramophone actually to what we use today as MP3. Is there an evolution? Is this new media really new media, better media? So that's a topic of another podcast. I also want to be exploring the Riggins article where I talked about my parents' living room. Now I live with my partner, and my parents' living room is the way that they express themselves. So what I'd like to do is maybe visit that article and compare it to my current living room and look at that. Also look at the Photo Voice project that we did, which was quite eye-opening, and I also want to look at Photo Voice and how to incorporate Photo Voice and new media and all of that great stuff, and incorporate my Photo Voice in this series of videos, and which will culminate again to, as I said in the beginning of this podcast, the final project for this course, which is how to do research with podcasting. Is there such a thing? Can we do research with podcasting? How can we incorporate it into our classrooms? How can we teach students to podcast, which I want to talk a little bit about. That will be my final major big podcast. But I hope, these smaller podcasts all fit in together in creating the big picture here. So the final podcast will be a little bit more refined thing that I did with the M Project, which is a project that I've been working with at St. George's High School, and students there in incorporating media into their curriculum, working with Tanya Edson, who's a teacher there at the school, and talking about how we use the medium in that school of podcasting and what we've been doing with them, etc. I created a video on how to podcast, which will be the final big major project there. Okay, I think I've said enough. I will stop talking now, and I want to thank everybody that's watched this, and hopefully you'll have a great time watching this series of podcasts, and hopefully your comments down here on the YouTube page won't be as harsh as I've read in the past through other people or through other channels I've been looking at. But it's been something I've been wanting to do for quite a bit of time now. So enjoy these podcasts, and thank you for watching.